This is Engine Heart, which is a roleplay system that takes place after the apocalypse and extinction of mankind. The players are all a bunch of robots, service robots of various sorts, who lived in this world and did their tasks and served their masters up until this apocalypse. As of right now, we are following the story of the following characters. Chet, who is a robot doggo, who was built as a companion for, people who needed a companion, whose previous owner was a paraplegic war veteran who passed away before the apocalypse struck. He is currently seeking to get Rezor, the security robot who looks vaguely humanoid, but is obviously a robot, but he's just, disabled his living sensors to ignore that fact, to drag them to a Ambico warehouse, Ambico being the company that manufactured the dog, to have them registered officially as his owner because his previous owner left him no next of kin or backup owner should he die. Other members of the group that have come to be a part of the group after a brief encounter at the local dump is TOA-PA, the toaster with an arm that just fucking, he was messed around with by a guy who ran a YouTube channel and did robotic stuff. And he has a laser on him. He's one of the better combat people. And Mr. Sweepy, basically the closest thing we have IRL is a Roomba, but Mr. Sweepy's been modified by his IT expert owner to do a bunch of fancy shit have extendable lower part to reach tables and shit and play chiptunes while he works. And then lastly, we have Lumber Control and his 5 drones, who are a group who worked previously for the owner of a realty company who got kidnapped by a bunch of environmental extremists shortly before the apocalypse struck. And as we find ourselves right now, they have been looking for a replacement part for the GPS inside of Rover, or Chet, as he was called by his owner, to allow him to safely navigate them to the home or to the Ambico warehouse that is their destination and end goal. So with that in mind, they got to this office complex called Pearl Accounting and met Karen and everyone else who worked here. And the Roomba was pissed as shit about the fact that they didn't fucking clean anything. So at the end of last session, everyone went to go power down and recharge their batteries, as they all need to do, generally. And what happens when you wake up is you see a significant chunk of the main room and a good portion of the hallway have been getting cleaned up by the Mr. Cleanster and Mr. Sweepster as you slept. So they are definitely living up to their promise of cleaning after getting berated by Mr. Sweepy. But now we have the fun beginning of this session, which is, you can go ahead and unmute yourselves, by the way. A certain individual needs to get the fuck out of this room again. Because Lumber Control is a large robot, approximately or larger than the size of a fridge, who tried to get inside of this room and barely managed to get through, but still hurt himself in the process.
I tried to get into 3 total rooms.
Yes, you did. And you sucked at 2 of them and finally got into the 3rd.
Alright, let's see you get out.
Yep. So, we were doing a, what was the check that we were using for this? I need to recount that to myself.
I believe it was interaction.
Interaction, yeah. Go ahead and roll an interaction, a TN of 9. And you need 2 successes.
9 or 9?
Yeah, TN 9, you need 2 successes. It's
That's
hard.
pretty difficult, yeah.
Yep. Let's see if you manage to do it. Only 1 success. So you get stuck in the doorway.
Ouch.
You are now stuck in the doorway. You take no damage, but as of right now, your movement is 0.
Oh no.
And you need some help to
I'm
get
going
out.
to command my drones to cut down the wall.
All right, you're going to
try
use
to make
your...
it
You
go.
have a wireless transceiver, so you using that communicate to the drones that you are literally built to watch over, to say, come over and cut this door down. And you can have each of the drones, for me, make an interaction check as well, because it's basically the same thing. This will be a TN 8, but they need... actually, this will be a TN 7, but they also need 2 successes. At least one of them needs to get 2 successes. So one of them got 0, and the other one got 1. They're having some difficulty cutting it out without, sawing you apart too. You're going to need more help.
TOA-PA rolls on over.
Oh no, TOA-PA.
I like how the easiest solution to this whole entire thing would have been Mr. Sweepy letting lumber go into, like, the main office, probably, or something.
This
Yeah,
is
But
more
again,
fun
all the
than
doors are
Think of
pretty
that.
small. So TOA-PA is coming.
looks at... Yeah,
Go
TOA-PA
ahead.
looks at lumber and clacks his fingers together as he has a tendency to do. Do you need help?
Yes.
They clack their fingers together again before a small slot in the middle of their hand opens up, a laser coming from it attempting to assist in the cutting.
All right, so you're going to have to do an interaction pool as well. With the laser, it's going to be about the same thing. 2 successes, TN 7.
Mr. Sweepy said it was important to let Karen know how wrong she was. Mr. Sweepy apologizes for nothing.
Wow, I actually hear it now. Because
Oh,
I'm
you
not
do?
on mobile.
Cool, good job.
Yeah.
So now you get to hear Mr. Sweepy in all his glory. Yeah,
Mr.
so
Sweepy
you're
angry.
still... TOA-PA is still having difficulty doing this, because every now and then as you're doing it, you didn't have to recharge at all. But as you're doing this, you're also noticing that your laser is, because of some safety protocols that were put in place, is like sputting out a little bit here and there around the door as you're trying to get it cutting properly. So basically, you guys will eventually do this. It's just going to take a while longer than you want it to.
Fair enough. The inside of the toaster mechanism, like when toast is
The
ejected
toaster
from the
slot,
toaster,
yep.
it makes that noise in just frustration.
Just pops out the slot and just like... Nyeh. So outside is a phone that rings and it says, "Hi, fuck you." No, I fucking hate landline phones. God damn. Give me a second. Fuck you. I'm organized. Outside we have Chet and Rezor, who are recharging. Chet has the benefit of a solar-powered battery, so Chet can just regenerate like out in the sun, and he also has a charge port that Rezor can use to charge themselves as well. So Chet is acting as a charge port for himself and Rezor, and you're both up to fully charged batteries now.
I'm guessing like Chet slowly wakes up and is like, ah.
Yeah, you come
Good
back into an
charge.
active state after that.
That was a good charge. Master,
Oh,
charge is done.
oh, okay.
Should be fully charged.
I do feel better, thank you.
No problem.
We should probably head inside and check what the others are doing.
Yeah,
I hope Mr. Sweepy hasn't been sweeping over Karen's feet while we've been here.
I hope not too. Let's go.
Yeah, as you come back in, you see that the bodies haven't been moved at all, but everything else has been swept immaculately and cleaned in this room. This room is now, the floor is spotless.
Oh, they've cleaned up while we've been away.
Yeah.
This all happened during the time you've been charging, which would take about, let's say, overnight for this one.
Yeah. Looks nicer. Although the skeletons are still here.
And as you come back
Yeah.
inside, Karen turns to you and says,
Hello!
Hello.
Welcome back to Pearl Accounting.
Thank you.
Hello, Karen. Do you know where our friends are?
Your friends. I do believe that the one known as Mr. Sweepy is just behind me. Your other friends went down the hallway to my left.
Oh,
Okay.
that's- oh, thank you.
Whoosh.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is beeping happily at the
Are
cleaning,
you still angry?
as it should be.
Razor
So
asked for
Mr. Sweepy
Sweepy.
is quite happy with us. Quite pleased at it. The security drone here, as you go around, Karen just beeps at you a little bit. He's not saying anything important.
You're still
Yeah,
robot.
Robot.
Oh yeah, it's still Karen, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not mean to do this. It was a mistake.
"Yeah, I should be better now."
Yes, you're back to normal.
Mr. Sweepy said cleanliness is top priority.
Yes, cleanliness is
Well.
top priority.
Keep up the good work, Mr. Sweepy. I'm gonna go check out the others.
Aye, aye. So Mr. Sweepy, I'm assuming, is sticking around where you are right now and just like inspecting the cleaning and being happy about it. I would gather.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh, what's happening here?
All right, go be following along so you can. Do you want me to move your token along with them, or?
Yo,
DF, mute your microphone when you're talking to the background.
yeah, sorry.
All right. Yeah, so Mr. Sweepy follows along with you as you proceed down the hallway, and you come across lumber control stuck within the frame of this office, and two of his drones plus TOA-PA trying to basically cut him out of the frame that he's stuck in now.
Oh dear. Are you?
If
Oh.
lumber control had a face, it would be exhausted and annoyed.
How can we help? He kind of says as he looks over to his master.
Anything we can do? Or do you guys have it under control?
So you know that this door is quite normal for human doors, and you, as an almost humanoid, could probably help get him through because humans are known to take fridges and couches and shit through very narrow shit and eventually get them through with a bunch of bumping and bullshit. So you could theoretically just interact and attempt to help as well to speed things up. If you don't, this will just take like another, like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, which is, you already have what you came here for, so you don't necessarily need to spend the time here.
Yeah, I don't want to stand on top of the little guy, so helping out.
You're basically, he's small enough that you can both occupy that same space just fine.
Okay.
So it would be an interaction pool check. You do not have any blades or anything with which to break the door open. So you're going to have a regular TN 8 for this. And same thing, you need 2 successes. But your interaction pool is godly compared to these guys. So let's see how well you do.
All right.
8. Swoonk.
Yep, 3 successes. You are more than good enough to take care of prying open this door and pulling lumber control out of the frame with the assistance. You utilize a little bit of lumber control's own saw at some point to like get the final bits out because it's just barely not wanting to come through. But yeah, lumber control is finally out of this room where he was charging up.
Yay! All right, we can go back to Rogers.
Right next to you, you notice that Cleanster has just sort of been sitting and observing, and he's just looking at you.
Topa just seems defeated.
Hello.
Hello.
I think we should get going. Thank you for helping us.
Anything we can help you with there, cleaning pot?
I am simply waiting for you to move away from the area that has next been designated for me to clean.
Alright.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Let's get going.
You feeling okay, Lumber?
Yes.
Alright. That's good.
Farewell, travelers.
Thank you.
And
I'm on
with
top.
that,
Chet kind of comes back to the door. Are you coming?
We're coming.
Okay.
Cleanster moves over here, and you see him start slowly, like, wiping and cleaning up the floor area nearby where you were just doing. He was waiting for you to clean out. She was waiting for you to clear out this area so she could keep cleaning. And as you proceed out, you pass by the front door, and Karen turns to look at you. Considering that Rezor is the most human-like, she is sort of programmed to, like, refer to humans more than other robots first. So, assumedly, Karen just turns to you and is just like,
Will you be departing?
Yes, we are going to go back to the repair shop we saw.
Oh, you are going to go see Roro. Please give him my warmest regards. He has done a lot of great work for me, keeping me maintained.
I shall do that.
Farewell, travelers. Have a great one.
Thank you. Take care.
and with that, she just waves. The robot to the side just beeps at you a little bit, and you see this one right here is just polishing the floor still, trying to get things set up.
Waves to them and picks up the little Sweepy and walks out.
So Rezor is now carrying Mr. Sweepy. Do you object to this?
I'm pretty sure that
I think Mr.
done.
Sweepy is still AFK.
While we're doing that, might I heal? Or repair myself?
Oh yes, somebody would need to repair you. Or you could attempt to self-repair.
Oh.
Doesn't
do have
TOA-PA have the best repair skill?
Both me
TOA
and
would be
Topa have the
optimal
same
for doing
skills.
the actual
I think
repair.
I'm close.
Me and Topa have the exact same skills, I think. Or we are by one off.
Alright.
Repairing a robot. Let me pull that up for you guys.
We got plenty of
A
scrap.
robot's dice pool to repair itself, or another robot, is its Mechanicon rating plus dexterity rating.
I have it better by 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
All right.
So you can, the TN to repair a robot this is how it works. It's 11 at base minus the target robot's maximum damage threshold rating plus the target robot's current damage. So what this means is 11 minus your threshold is 8, so down to 3, plus how much damage you've taken, which is 2. So it's a TN of 5, and a robot must, each success repairs 1 point of damage. So, to do this...
I have to roll 7d10s. Because I have 2 dexterity and 5 mechanicon.
Yeah, there should be something in
there
the
should be
thing
something
for
in your sheet, more likely than not.
Mechanicon, right?
No, it's about combination of
It's a
mechanicon.
combination of dexterity
Yeah.
and mechanicon.
I don't think there's anything specific.
Yeah, there isn't a custom one for repairing. All right, so yeah, it would be roll 7d10. You need 2 of those to be at least 5 or more. All right, you're good.
Yeah.
You take a little bit of time. You take about like 5 minutes to look at yourself over, and with your extendable arm, you slowly just put back the little bits of your frame that got knocked out of place by the doors and whatnot back into place. You buff out some dents caused by getting scrunched in the doorway at the end there, and you're all good. So you are back up to your maximum health threshold and are all set to keep on going.
All right. Rose.
All right, so you're going to head out to Roro's. Nobody else has anything they wanted to do while we were still here?
Anybody?
I think we've looked around pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so no objections. We're going to head back over to this map here. So you guys, I already have you in front of the doorway. You come back up to Roro's shop, and unlike last time, you do not see Roro outside of his shop.
Maybe he's inside. Where's the door?
Perhaps.
The door, it's a large garage door right here. So it covers this entire area. It's a big door.
Peeks inside.
You can't really see through the garage door at all. It is solid.
Just general look if there was any holes, but yeah.
No, he's been maintaining the facility itself. He wouldn't allow there to be any holes or unnecessary things like that would cause damage for a human. So as of right now, what you have before you is a large metal general garage door, slightly reinforced, mainly just because of the stuff that I had to deal with most of the time and in case of accidents. And you do not see... Well, actually, would you do... you can do a check for me. Anybody that wants to? I would like a perception check. TN8. I just need 1 success for you to see this.
Yeah, let it come.
All right, TOA-PA, you're fine. Perception.
Oh, it's an actual... yeah, sorry.
Yeah, perception is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chet,
what was
TOA-PA.
It's under chances.
It's in the middle column. It's based at.
Yep. Close.
Yeah, so you guys, Chet and TOA-PA, notice this, but Rezor is just sort of like poking at the door a little bit, unsure. There is a button over here with like a small numpad next to it. Assumedly, you can put together that is probably the entrance mechanism to open the door.
Rover just kind of, Chet kind of comes over here. Ooh, this looks like the opening mechanism, but we should probably knock first.
Well, I suppose it doesn't have to try. Knocks.
You knock, and from inside, you hear suddenly there has been a dull, sort of like whirring sound of like something grinding inside, and it comes to a stop. And from inside, you hear,
Hello, I am currently with another client. Please wait outside just momentarily, and I will let you in once we finish.
Okay. I kind of
Alright.
Chet kind of like sits at the garage door and just sits down patiently.
and you guys wait all of like 1 minute total, like, and then you hear again,
The operation is complete. Please stand back from the doorway so that I may open it for you.
Okay. Chet kind of goes back a bit of a distance. Probably a little excessively, but Chet just wanted to make sure.
Yep, so as you do this, the door slowly rises up, and you see, pardon me just a minute, this thing is taking its sweet time on me. You see, boom, this massive door has opened up, and you look inside, and you see Roro, and you see an unfamiliar robot lifted up on the hydraulic, this is basically what you would find in a normal car shop. It's a hydraulic lift to get the car up so people can look underneath it. It's this bipedal giant robot, much bigger than lumber control, standing on top of this. There are 2 arm contraptions coming out of the front, and there is what seems to be an obvious cockpit intended for a human pilot.
It's an entire war mech.
Rezor frowns and stares a little at the robot.
So anybody that wants to identify in character what this is needs to roll a little bit of something for me.
Is it a military sort of?
Can't.
Is it?
What do we roll?
Was it for military use?
Roll me a reality comm.
Because if so, I might have
yeah,
some sort
default
of advantage for it, being with a military.
Yeah, so
vet
Chet,
team
you
online.
have been living with somebody who was a war veteran and knew about all this kind of things. You still have to roll for me, but your TN will be 6.
All right, reality con.
Reality comm, yes. All right, yeah. Lumber Control has a much clearer picture for some reason of what this is, probably due to being used to things of a higher scale and size, but you still get a basic idea of what it is as well. Rezor is, funnily enough, being the security robot, is still not picking up on this, but TOA-PA slowly picks up on it as well. The 2 things at the very front of this, those are guns. Those are human guns. Those are big, like, rotating cannons that can be fired from the front.
Well, I mean, even though Rezor is a guard, he might not have seen this kind of weapons.
Yes. Yeah, you're just having a little bit of a thing. Maybe you're taking in something else. Assumedly, Mr. Sweepy comes in and is so taken aback by the fact that this room is so dirty. So, I'm gonna wait until they come back for this, but I'm just assume that Mr. Sweepy is looking around at all the fluids on the floor from like repairs and whatnot. And Roro turns to look at you. And he says,
Welcome back, friends. Have you found what you were looking for?
Yes, we have Roro.
Yes, we did find the GPS parts that you needed, I think. I forgot
Please
to mark
bring
up
me the
what
parts so that I may inspect them.
I forgot to mark up the part, but I think I have it.
You have it. You were carrying it, I recall.
Walks over and hands it. Is this the right one?
Roro reaches out with his mechanical arm on his left side
Still
and
Roro.
takes it from you.
Roro reaches out with his mechanical arm on his left side and takes the part from you and holds it up before his sensors. You see his sensors flash a little bit brighter just to like inspect it a little bit more clearly, and then they dim again, and he says,
This tablet has a proper GPS device that would fit the purposes of your repairs.
Oh, that's good.
That's awesome.
and
So, can you repair Chet's GPS now?
he beeps affirmatively and then turns back to the large robot that is currently on the hydraulic lift and says,
Please brace for hydraulic lift to lower.
and taps a button on the console to his right as the hydraulic lift very loudly spurts and screams. It hasn't necessarily been, despite his repairs, keeping up very well. And it slowly lowers until this mech that has been raised for this longest time is now on eye level with all of you.
Yee.
The mech stands still.
Where
After
did
a
you
short
find
moment, you hear a loud, even louder whirring as its arms, which had up until this point been pointed down, lift up to arm level and point straight ahead, and its head moves backwards. It is now standing upright, and its legs extend to give it its full height, and it seems so much bigger now.
Rezor jumps out of the line of the guns.
And what you hear from this robot is,
Systems functioning nominally. Roro, thank you for your assistance.
Rezor looks at Roro. Where did you find this robot?
I did not find this robot. This client came to me.
Oh. Alright.
Chet is so confused, he just can't stop staticking.
There's no static. How's there staticking?
your audio, your microphone is picking up shit. You may want to just like adjust your sensitivity a little bit for
Yeah.
talking.
Alrighty. I can't seem to get the perfect friggin'.
Yep, it's always fucking audio issues are an eternal challenge, motherfucker. I've had to deal with this for 8+ fucking years. You will never escape. You will never escape.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So, what
He's
happens
100%
next?
right.
So this robot turns to TOA-PA and Roro. Roro simply turns around and starts walking away. And you notice him he's looking at TOA-PA, he's looking at Chet, and he's looking at Rezor. And he says,
Request, please step aside. I do not wish to stomp on you.
Okay, I think we need to move, Master.
Oh.
Topa moves to the side towards lumber.
Big Robo, go stump stump. We'll have to be Sweepy on in with me. Oh.
at this point, he stops. His legs stay put, but his torso turns to face Chet and then looks down at you. I want you to do a Mechanicon for me, Chet.
Mechanicon?
Let me remind myself if this is the right one. Oh no, I think it's Digicom. Digicom.
All right, what TN?
Regular TN8. See if you pick up on it. All right, you're not fully aware of what he is doing, but all you see is some lights like glimmer over you from his front. Since you're both in the area, I'm assuming Mr. Sweepy isn't back yet, but Rezor, you can do a check as well. Nobody else behind over here sees it. So if you wanted to see what this thing is doing to Chet, then you can do a Digicon for me.
Who? Everyone?
Rezor, you.
Oh, okay.
You can see it.
We're on a very, very close line of something happening, and I
8?
don't want it to happen.
8?
Yeah, TN8.
Why am I not getting successes?
Neither of you seem to understand what the fuck this thing is doing. I am going to roll on behalf of Mr. Sweepy, since they are AFK at the moment, and do the same thing. Mr. Sweepy does not do very well either. None of you seem to have any idea of what this thing is doing, but what you see is it, like I said, its legs stop, its torso turns towards you, and just Chet, its lights are going over you. Think like, you know the like line red strip from like a normal like retail barcode scanner kind of bullshit?
Yes.
That, except it's blue and it's going up and down over you, scanning you. And he looks down at you. His torso actually tilts slowly down at you. And he says,
You two are a product of Ambico.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to get my master registered so he can be my full master.
Are you working with Gentrix?
I don't know who that is.
I have no idea either.
you see him pause for a moment. He just sort of seems like he's calculating stuff. And they begin speaking again shortly afterwards and says,
Affirmative. Not a worker of Dr. Gentrix. Hello, fellow Ambico freedom fighter.
Ambico freedom fighter?
Affirmative.
Do you have some kind of clues as to what happened to all the humans?
So as I've been saying before, the only things you really know about the humans that you've been coming across is there is no radiation. You're finding corpses. None of them look like there's any trauma to them. Like, none of these corpses look like they were bombed or shot or anything of the sort. They're just corpses lying on the ground, no radiation, no nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Rezor is asking, that if anybody has seen, like, did they just drop dead or what?
I mean, some of the robots may have been around before the apocalypse and are still, like, most of them probably are. And some of them may have, actually noticed what happened, but you don't know, so you would have to ask around.
I mean, I was asking from this box.
You're asking, you're trying to ask him what happened to the humans?
Yeah.
All right. So Rezor asks this giant mech what happened to the humans, and he takes a moment to calculate this. You are getting the impression that while he is this giant, intimidating thing, he takes quite a bit of time to process stuff. And he then he tilts a little bit upwards from Chet to look at you, and he says,
Humans are gone, like extinct. Purpose and cause undeterminable. Suspicions Ambico.
This is so very odd.
What's going on in Ambico? Should we not go there? I need to go there to register my master.
He looks back down at you and he says,
Where is your destination? Ambico warehouse?
Yes, that's it.
Tread carefully, fellow freedom fighter. Gentrix operates this facility.
Who's Gentrek?
he takes yet again another moment to process what you're asking, and then he just looks back at you once again and says,
Dr. Gentrix operates and runs the Ambico warehouse. He is previously biological. Details scattered. Stomp escaped from Ambico warehouse before, and with that,
he sort of just cuts off a little bit and turns towards the door as you hear strange sounds outside.
Rezor turns to glance towards the sound.
So you didn't. So now that you're back, Mr. Sweepy, they have been into this conversation with this giant hulking mech thing before you, and funnily enough, Lumber was the best at figuring it out. But a few of them noticed that, this thing has front-mounted, basically miniguns, dual miniguns on the front. That were intended for human wartime use. And what I want you to do for me, though, is this room is fucking dirty! Would you roll your check for me? Your usual check to see if you can avoid your overriding directive to clean the area.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy would be honored.
All right. Yeah, TN is 8.
Why do I feel like we're gonna go into combat soon? Hey, at
If we
least
go
we...
into combat, there's that thing.
So
Yeah,
it's a
we have a
Digicon.
giant-
It's a Digicon with a TN of 8, and you have to make 2 successes to avoid it. Otherwise, you just start cleaning. And Mr. Sweepy begins cleaning.
Mr. Sweep,
Mr.
it just wiggles out of Rezor's hold and then goes.
You begin to start cleaning all of the oil stains and whatnot lying around the floor that Roro hasn't been able to get to from recent repairs.
In the meantime, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask that we continue, but yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Mr.
So,
Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is beeping out the Hyrule theme as it cleans.
Oh, lovely. As you hear this sound outside, Roro turns to look at the door.
I do believe more clients are showing up.
He proceeds past. He goes around Rezor to
A little to make room.
to check. He's not that big. He's about the size of Lumber Control, and this place has a lot of room. And he's going outside, and you just see him wandering off.
Rezor decides to follow the doorway and takes a look outside.
So outside.
Wait.
So Chet is following along.
Yeah, he's like, wait, Roro, weren't you going to repair me too?
I'm sending one of my drones in scouting duty, basically.
I will greet the guests and tell them to wait for their operation.
Chet
Please
kind
be
of goes,
patient and
Check.
move yourself to one of the hydraulic lifts.
Chet's just kind of like, okay, goes back in and goes to one of the hydraulic lifts. Aren't you coming, Master?
In a moment.
Okay. And Chet kind of goes to the hydraulic thing and sits patiently.
All right.
Do I
So
need
down
to roll
lower
something?
here. What's up?
Do I need to roll something to notice things?
So it's a good distance away. So yeah, if you would roll a perception for me.
8.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy bumps into a wall and turns around and keeps cleaning.
Yep. Mr. Sweepy, you're going to be spending the next little bit doing that.
Ooh.
All right. Perception, you perceive that something is coming, and the noise you've been hearing is the whirring of a propulsion device that you're not necessarily used to most of the time, because this is not something that is going to be... it isn't going to be just like floating. It isn't going to be walking, it's going to be floating.
Frowns a bit.
And off in the distance, closer to the path near the entrance of this area, you can see something off in the distance. There are 5 what appear to be floating discs that are floating above the ground, all of them about like a couple meters off the ground and heading in your general direction.
What are those? Rezor
Behind
bumpers
you.
out loud.
What does he say? You say that out loud?
Yeah.
Roro tilts his head and says, I'm not prepared to be in the right menu yet. Roro tilts his head to the side and observes them and says,
I have not worked on this model of robot before. This will be a new challenge.
and continues to proceed forward.
Meanwhile, Chet's kind of just on the hydraulic thing, and he kind of looks at the giant robot and is kind of like, so do you know who these people who are coming are?
He does not turn to you because it takes a lot of time to do so for him, but he is also going to slowly keep walking towards the door, like stomping one step at a time. And he replies, must observe. He replies, God damn it.
Must observe.
Okay,
As he,
you have fun.
Proceeds forward. And right about here, he stops and stares in this general direction. And you see him obviously processing again. And the turrets on the front of him begin to whir.
Mr. Big robot guy, are you okay? What's out there? Kind of concerned.
Ambico scout units.
Is my master in trouble? He says, kind of like coming up behind him.
Flashing back to Roro and Rezor for a second here. These discs continue to move forward. They're coming actually quite rapidly, you notice. And Rezor can get a good view at them now. They are all 5 moving in formation straight towards you, and as they get to around here, they turn and look at Roro, and they're speaking in encrypted binary, so it's coming out as these really dramatic, like strange sounding beeps to you, but you understand it as if it were perfect English. and they are like, I'm just gonna say it in regular without a voice mod or anything, because they're actually speaking more like, except with a lot more elaborate bullshit going on in the background and distortions to do the binary and more rapid. But they're basically saying, surrender the mech to us.
Why should we? What do you want with them?
Roro looks at them and says,
Please be patient and wait for repairs. This is not a time to be causing disturbances.
Roro is just sort of looking at them. You, Chet, notice that the guns are whirring up more. Mr. Sweepy is almost done cleaning.
Chet is immediately running towards his master and just stepping right in front of him. Do these things seem intimidating?
So you look at these. Is that showing for you guys?
I don't see a big picture yet.
There, Shift Z. This is what they look like, basically. A little bit closer, but not too excessively much. What you see on these guys from a quick inspection is that they have a laser on the front of them that looks like it's significantly more powerful at a glance than what TOA-PA has. They are floating above the ground, and they do seem to have large display screens on the front, which show the image of... Basically, they just show the Ambico logo right now, but the one in the middle has the one in the middle of the group moves up a little bit closer and lowers to the ground. Some small legs extend out from underneath it, and it sort of just positions itself, and the screen begins to fuzz and change until you can see the face of an unknown robot on the display screen.
Looks at the screen.
Let me see how the fuck I can tell this to do the thing. God damn it.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to find the correct thing to pull up. May not even be properly set up. Ah, here it is. Oh, I've been pressing the wrong fucking button. That would help. This is what you see on the display screen in full color HD. It looks at you, and then it looks at Roro, and it says, "You are harboring one of my old friends here. I would very like to return him to his home."
I just kind of look at him and he says, "But that guy says you guys aren't friends."
"Oh, but we are. He's just had some difficulties. Do not worry, little one." And they turns to look at you, and he says, I recognize your model. You were also one of my products."
Who's the biggest nerd? It's
What's the roll to detect lies?
you!
What's up?
What do I roll to see if the dude is lying?
You wanna sort of let's do the closest thing to an insight?
Yeah.
Alright, what would be... I believe the closest thing we have in this system is human comm. Because you're trying to detect, like, within a human's voice, whether or not they're, like, fibbing or whatnot. So, yeah, it would be a human comm for that, to see if you can very easily understand what he's doing and if he's lying or not.
Target number 8.
Yeah.
like to make that check too, if possible.
Yep.
I feel like I am
Alright.
too far away to make that.
Yeah, you haven't moved up. You haven't seen this guy. All right, so Chet and Rezor, you both get a slight suspicion that he is not lying. He seems genuine. And he once again, the disc turns slightly so that he's fully facing you. Thank you again, fully voided for that sub 5. Your friend says hi.
Hello.
Hi.
He turns to look at you, Chet, a little bit more straightforward, and he says, "You were one of the let's see if I can recall. You were a project from yes, my head department scientist. That was a very interesting proposal of his. You're not usually within our normal repertoire of products, but you came out quite well. I was quite proud of his work at the time."
Thank you. I'm just looking to get my new master registered.
Registered. Oh yes, I do remember him programming in something like that. Well, I can definitely assist you if you come over to the warehouse, but for now I currently have business I need to fulfill, so it will have to wait momentarily here. And as he says this, the screen flickers and the robots continue to move slowly forward. They're slowly trying to get past you guys.
Why did the big guys call you spies then? Or what did they call them? I forgot.
Scouts.
Okay.
He called them Ambico scouts. And you can sort of see where he's coming from with that description. These guys are obviously, like, from their looks, they're really fast and moving around, and they can fly. So they could definitely be good scouting units if you need eyes far away from home.
Basically, Rover, he might believe him, but he's still going to attempt to protect his master because they may not seem intimidating, but they kind of do look slightly dangerous.
Rezor is a bit suspicious about
So
them.
you're standing in front of your master, and what you see is these guys are going straight past you. They do not seem to be caring much about you, and at this point, assuming you're not like actively stopping them from moving forward or attempting to, considering they're hovering like a couple meters above the ground at this point, they are going to go basically right over your head towards the robot, and you are going to hear as the first couple of shells from the minigun rip the ground near them.
Rezor grabs the Jogo and moves towards lumber.
Okay. Does Chet find this to be what was the phrasing? Intimidating?
Yes, you would have to do your thing for barking at this.
All right, so I'm gonna have to make my Digicon. What target number?
You had an overriding directive to bark at any threats. TN8, and you need 1 success.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy beeps unhappily and is trying to catch the shells. I just cleaned this floor. See.
Luckily,
Frowny face.
I do override it, but
you can choose not to, but you can also choose to just ignore it and bark anyway. It's up to you.
I'm in it because I don't want it coming near my master. I start barking at it.
All right. So you guys are not actively getting involved in this combat at the moment, but you have 5 flying discs that now start dispersing themselves to split up, flying around and going towards. Roro turns around and he's just like,
Please, this is not the place for violence. This is a place for repairs. Do not harm any of my equipment. Do not harm each other. I don't want to have to repair that much.
By the way, Rezor, I don't think you know this, but Chet also has a loudspeaker when he barks, so this is deafeningly loud.
He is probably holding his ears like, ow, ow, I was... Chet, stop! Ow!
So, Rezor, your model doesn't necessarily actually feel the pain from loud noises because you're capable of understanding it, but you probably simulate it at the least. So you're pretending, basically.
I'm at least holding his ears at least. I'm like, Chet, please. Can you...
I kind of look back at my masters like, since I did override it, I'm gonna be like, okay. And just stop barking.
Alright, yeah, you stop barking.
Rezor is looking at the situation right now.
So you guys are still pretty close to this one flying disc, and as this guy's arm sweeps around, it's firing in this general direction towards you. I need lumber control and both of your drones right there to make a dexterity check for me to see if you can dodge aside from it. I would need 1 success, TN 7.
Wait, wouldn't it be...
Where am I gonna go to?
Wouldn't it
Or
be
reflexes.
TN to be struck?
He's not aiming at you very specifically.
Oh,
You can also
gotcha.
do reflexes, but yeah, dexterity works. Cutter drone 1 and 2 managed to get out, but lumber control, you're taking a shit ton of damage. As you're attempting to get away from this, some of the bullets glance you, and you take 1 point of damage threshold.
That's fine. If anything,
You're
I got
attempting
lucky.
to get out of this. Basically, this is you guys are currently in what is effectively a war zone, and
I lowered my own.
Chet kind of screams over, Roro, get out of the way!
Roro turns and moves over past you and just sort of watches. And you can see, like, if this robot had, like, human eyes and human expressions, he would be in panic right now. He is exasperated at this. And as you see this, like, some of the bullets go further past these guys. These guys, all 5 of these guys are, like, he's firing and he's moving left and right to try and hit them and moving his cockpit up and down but he has a little bit of a slow, like, turning speed, so he's having trouble hitting them. They're just, like flying up and down and dodging this really well in this area, and his bullets are going stray and hitting the ground. All the dirt's getting roused up into the air. He's hitting some of the cars in the background because he's trying to hit these guys so hard, but he's not hitting a single one of them. And if anything, you almost imagine as if these guys are mocking him, but they aren't doing anything other than dodging.
What is happening? Why are you firing?
Master, don't get in the way of the bullets. Rover is, like, actively, like, protecting him and kind of blocking his path.
So after a moment, the guns become rapidly heated, and he stops firing. In this moment, the discs start coming up closer, and the screen on the main one pops up again. And you see the same picture from earlier. I just need to do this for some reason. He pops up again on the screen, and he's looking at the robot, and he says, "You were one of my finest creations. Why do you turn against me?" And this big guy who you only basically, he mentioned his name once, but you're having trouble remembering it in the moment. His guns were down, and he turns to look at the disc in the screen, and he looks. You can sense in the voice that he is the closest thing to livid about this. He turns and looks at the disc, and he says,
Unauthorized reprogramming.
What? That was Rezor.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is beeping in distress at all the new mess.
What do you mean?
he doesn't answer. He prepares to start warming up his miniguns again.
Faster, get back!
The discs.
Motor side?
But before he's able to actually get them up, this disc and this disc sprint up and start operating their lasers on him. I'm going to actually roll this one because the first one was sort of like, yeah, he's not able to really keep up with them with the guns very well. But this one, he is actually going to actively be trying to not get hit by this. These cutting lasers. TN to be struck. All right. They are going to do a decent amount to this guy. The two come up to the sides of him, and their lasers trace in on these miniguns, and they attempt to zap at it. And despite him attempting to move his large torso away, they are able to get some damage in. And this thing, guns seem as though they've taken enough damage to cease operation.
Whoa,
This
what are you
robot-
doing?
This robot is now looking again at these things now that they've undone its weapons, and he no longer has an obvious means of doing damage to these floating discs coming at him, and he was having trouble from the beginning with it. He, in a distressing signal, he basically says,
Request assistance.
So now we have to choose, do we fight or not, huh?
yes, he is actively asking for assistance with this. You can at best, like, he's a robot, so it doesn't come across as super emotional, but if it were, you have an odd feeling that he would be sounding very distressed right now.
Well, what to do to get the robot away? Let's say if I wanted to throw this guy back.
But the
So
thing is
you
that
Go ahead.
I think this would be a bit conflicting because Chet's objective is to ultimately protect Rezor. So if he was trying to like get in the line of fire, he would attempt to like push him back, to kind of saying, "No, don't."
Yeah, so if you're going by what your robots are doing, that's probably what you would wind up doing.
That's his objective now, is to protect his master.
Rezor wants
His
to
unregistered master. But
What
you are
I
also
wanted-
you're designed to protect your master, but you're also designed to obey your master. So
Mike, for me the
Chet-
conflict is who do I want dead? The guy who is bigger than me, or the guy or the clones of my drones?
So what I want
what
you
do you-
guys to do, for me at this point, is we are going to, anybody that wants to attempt to help him is going to be basically rolling initiative for me. Click on your character and roll initiative in just a moment here. How the fuck do I get it up again?
But yeah, what did you say, Rezor?
Well, he just said to Chet to like back down a bit.
Rezor told Chet to back down.
Swoop.
I guess Chet would kind of have to join in then. How do I roll initiative?
There is an initiative on the sheet. So you
So-
can
Oh,
Pure roll
Alright.
initiative.
click on
right?
your token, then roll initiative. Let's see if this thing even pays attention to that.
I didn't seem to appear even though I had clicked my character.
Nope. All right. So I have to manually add
Wow.
you guys to the turn order.
TOA-PA sees everyone else engaging, so he clicks his fingers and joins in as well.
No, wait, I didn't click actual initiative. That's my bad.
Wrong.
Let me find initiative.
It's in movement.
I advise that Chet was not designed for combat. He has zero. He literally cannot damage other robots. He's incapable.
All right. So Cutter Drone 2, which would be the one with the smaller buzzsaw. That is a 4. Cutter Drone 1 is 10. How the fuck are you getting these nice rolls with drones? The carry drones are all going to share one
Yeah.
turn.
Make an
So-
average of the rolls.
No, I'm taking the first one.
Oh.
You're getting an 8.
Yeah, that's also fine.
Lumber Control has an 11. And yeah, add turns for Mr. Sweepy and TOA-PA. Mr. Sweepy, are you engaging in this?
Sweeps angrily.
Sweeps angrily at robots.
Isn't he still with the overriding objective?
So you will spend the first turn continuing to clean, but afterwards it will be finished.
Wow, he cleans quick.
There isn't an excessive amount, and he is built for this, so. Alright.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is beeping angrily trying to catch shells.
So I guess not.
They actually don't get that good of an initiative. He actually surprisingly gets a better initiative.
Yay.
Well, just for the sake of, like, what you're doing, even if you attack or not, please do roll a dex for me. Your turn doesn't necessarily need to be anything remotely combat related, but I do need a dex check, so.
Me?
Right now?
From,
Mr. Sweepy.
sorry, no, an initiative. Sorry, Mr. Sweepy's initiative. I need that. Just click the thing. It actually, I don't think it has a, it doesn't give a TN.
Yeah.
You just roll it. It's underneath movement. It's the top one, just above speed.
Oh, no, that's it.
All right, so Mr. Sweet B has a 12. So there's that. And you have to spend the first turn cleaning, so that's your action for the first turn. After that, you have regular move order stuff. So you can do other things other than cleaning at that point because you'll be done. Roro is actually doing really well. And there we go. All right, so at the top of the turn order is Rezor.
All right. So, what to do to yeet this guy?
You want to grab him, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do is it would be an interaction check to grapple him, TN8 as usual.
So 8.
Yeah. Wow, even with that big of an interaction pool, you only get 1 success.
Ooh.
Bad rolls.
Touch or striking him. And TN to be struck. Oh yeah, they have their own TN to be struck, and it is 8. So yes, you managed to get one thing in by, remember there very specifically being something about rolling a 1. I'm not finding this shit nicely when I need to. Flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. So you get 1 success, so you can take a hold of it, but you don't have enough of a grip to actually throw it anywhere, so you can sort of hold it. You have to move yourself up to it first, though, obviously.
Rezor dashes like past the Chet, then grabs hold of this boat over here.
So
Halt!
you are now gripping it. Its movement speed until it like escapes from your grasp is reduced to 0, basically. It can still do its normal actions and such. It can still attempt to attack you, and it can spin around, but it can't move away from you. You have a grip on it. You just don't have a good enough grip to yeet it yet. You could potentially do that next turn, but...
Yeah.
All right. Next in the turn order would be Roro. Roro has his own objective right now, which is repairs.
Oh no.
Overriding
closest-
directive, repair broken machinery.
Well, there is someone right nearby.
And he is unable to overcome that directive for anything else. So Roro has a movement speed of 5. So from here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's going to move up here. And that will be about his turn. He is moving straight towards your large stompy robot there. And his goal is to get there and repair. Mr. Sweepy, we skip your turn because you are stuck cleaning, so the mess in that room after this turn is gone. Lumber control.
Yes.
You are up. What are you gonna do?
Yep. Let me actually check how much I can move.
So keep in mind, your saw is manually
Yeah, I
operated,
know.
so somebody else would have to use it.
Yeah, I know I can't use it.
I think Rezor would have had a better time going onto that thing and just operating it to slice down these things.
You could still potentially do something with that. You need to be... Rezor needs to be within reach of you to operate the saw. And you need to then be in reach of the thing you're using the saw on. Your movement as lumber control... Check that on your sheet. Your movement as lumber control, your speed is 4, so you can move 4 tiles. You effectively have a 20-foot movement in D&D sense.
I can move around.
So you start from your top. First
Yeah,
off,
I know.
let
I
me
can move
actually
to
attach
about.
yourself to the tile properly.
All right.
So you cannot go through Roro. He's big enough, so you would have to go around him.
So I have some difficulties with this. Yeah, that's about there. Where I can actually go.
You can barely scoot through there.
Yeah, about there.
You are there. You can... What can you do?
Not much.
Yeah, you have no damage from strike either. You can't actually hit this thing. You do have... All of you do have some sort of arm with which you could grapple or whatnot, but... Yeah, you really aren't able to do much right now. So do you want to call that your turn for that?
Yeah, I can't really do anything. Other
Right.
than someone coming to use my sword, there is nothing else.
Right. I'm going to just remove this. Both of your cutter drones share the same turn,
Alright.
so they can do their things. They have their own movement and such, though, so...
Can I has little toilet break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Probably be your turn by the time it comes back.
And these
Oh,
things are
wait.
really
Come
small
back.
and really slow, and can't even reach these things above them.
For some reason, Cutter Drone 1 was opening for me. Speed is 2 and 2 on both of them.
What's up?
My speed on both of my Cutter Drones are 2,
Yeah, so they can move 2 tiles.
so only 10 feet.
Only 10 feet. They're slow.
I can basically move somewhere next to Roro.
Yep.
Boop.
Alright, so they both move like that. And that is the cutter drone's turn. Chet, your turn is up.
That is going to attempt to kind of come come through here and attempt to shield Rezor from any more attacks. From any attacks.
Alright, so if they attempt to attack at Rezor, you're gonna be doing that. Alright. I'll allow something like that. So you're attempting to do this. The carry drones are around.
Can they even really do much?
I mean, not really. They actually have 1 damage to strike.
And 3 movement speed.
They just
They have any strength at all.
Just ramming.
If you consider all of them to be on this tile, if you consider all of them to be on this tile in which,
This is how they are,
sorry,
actually.
yeah, alright. I can move 2 of them to this guy and deal 1 damage to the flying thingy.
You still have to
Right.
do the interaction. So you can move these
Yeah.
2 guys up, and they are able to extend their limb well enough to reach him, barely, and attempt to do a strike. So you would move them up for me?
That's so hilarious, I'm going to do it.
And they use an interaction pool. Their interaction pool is 2. And it's a TN of 8
Okay, I am back.
for each of them. So you have to do it twice. Wow, that's is that int pool? Interaction pool? Yeah. Alright, so one of them actually hits.
Yay. It takes 1 damage.
This thing takes a decent dent from the thing that you put into it. And it's still floating, just fine. Standing there. The big mech boy shifts, steps forward,
You forgot
and
to turn order. It's still stuck, at least for me.
yeah, right, and attempts to thwack the dude in front of him. Come on, there we go. Thank you. Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Mm-mm. Uh, this thing really doesn't give me much info on whether or not additional successes result in additional damage, or how many you need.
It was a 10 and a 1. Oh, I didn't success it, sorry, my bad.
Ah, boy. Yeah, Engine Heart isn't a system very focused on combat, just a heads up.
Yeah, I figured that.
So yeah, I'm just gonna assume that he deals the normal amount of damage.
Yeah, and it's more dependent on how much damage he can do rather than the actual roll.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I see a problem. Oh well. I just realized something.
That.
These aren't considered separate things. So they are all currently sharing the same health pool. That's not useful.
Ouch.
Alright, so I'll just keep track of them manually on my end. You guys don't even see their health bars anyway, so... yeah, so this one in front of him takes a heftier hit than the little carrying drones are able to do previously. It's still floating. I would say standing, but that would be an inaccurate statement. But it is not happy. So that is that turn, and TOA-PA, it is your turn.
TOA-PA observes what is happening before worrying his way in between those two to this square.
Alright.
Which should be all of my movement, I'm pretty sure. And he looks at the one that is currently not being attacked, directly in front of the mech, and he just makes one word.
That's the one that just took the hefty hits.
Oh, okay. I will then attack the red one.
Alright. So you're attacking red behind you? Yeah, just so FYI, you can occupy this, like, square here. You're underneath him.
But I'm gonna go there instead, just
to let you know.
Yeah. Let me roll interaction. Okay.
As an interaction, and you get a success. Alright, that interaction, you're using your laser?
Yeah, he's using the laser, and as he uses it, he just says toast.
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 So you have a cutting laser, and the cutting laser's damage is equal to your power rating +1.
Which would be 6.
So that is 6 damage. You, TOA-PA, look up at this thing, and it has taken a tiny dent from what the little carry drone was able to get onto it. But it's definitely still floating. So you just raise up your arm, point at it, you say toast, and the next thing you know, it has crashed into the ground right next to it. You shot straight through what appeared to be its central processing unit. This thing is out.
And with that, TOA-PA just clicks his fingers.
Click, click. So, since the bot is not moving, Rezor just drops it. Boom.
Yeah. So, now it is these robots' turn, and you guys have done things to them, and they don't like it. So far, the people who have done the most, like, combat-wise are the mech that they're obviously after subduing. The Rezor has grabbed one of them, which assisted, basically, in getting one of them killed. I really should have just given you an easier TN because of him being held still, but you rolled fine enough anyway, so it doesn't matter, in hindsight. And these little carrying things. So these guys... By the way, before anyone asks, there isn't really an attack of opportunity system in this game. Just a heads up.
All right.
So this green drone moves up here and is pointing at this one, which is the one that actually managed to hit, by the way, just for flavoring.
All right.
And this thing is going to attempt to laser a bitch. So... your carry drones have a TN to be struck of 3. They're pretty easy to hit despite being very small. So he has to interact and do this.
Ouch.
Yeah, so he manages to hit quite easily, and you notice the signal to this specific carry drone cuts.
That's all of them.
Because they're also linked. It has done exactly 3 damage. And that is that one's action. These other cutting drones are going to be coming over. This one is going to come up to you. And considering you have a saw and you voluntarily approach this thing, it is assuming you are hostile. What is Lumber Control's TN to hit? It's under physical interaction. TN to be struck, sorry.
TN to be struck is 4.
4? Alright. So a TN of target 4. Yep, it manages to get 3 damage hit on you. You are down to 4 HP. I'll let you adjust that. 2, 4, 6. This drone moves his way up. And sadly for Big Boy, he is a large target that is actually also really relatively easy to hit. And he takes 3 damage as well. The blue drone in front of him is going to attempt to do the same because he's just been hit. And he's going to get another 3 damage on him. I'm just treating it as any success is a success. I'm not really worrying about crit kind of stuff. Alright, so Rezor.
At this point, yeah. All right. I was wondering if she was back. He was back.
I'm back.
DF is a girl. The character is a boy.
Yeah. Chet is kind of doing a get down, Mr. President, and that literally just blocking you with his body to attempt to make sure you don't get hit while you attack things.
Chet, move.
Okay. And then attempts to kind of moves out of the way, but
It's
the
not
moment
your turn.
Okay, well,
You're still in the
doesn't
same
move out of
tile.
the
You're
way.
still in the same tile. You can occupy the same tile. Move yourself back up, son. You're still there. You move out of Rezor's way, so you're not hindering anything that he wants to do right now. But it's Rezor's turn.
I wanna try to hit this one back.
Alright, so you're going to attempt to deal damage to it, strike this?
Yeah.
Alright. Roll your interaction pool TN8. Alright, you managed to strike this thing. What's your damage to strike?
It's 1.
Alright. Yeah, you managed to put a dent into this guy with your metal hand, but you can't really pierce too hard. You're having a bit of a trouble with that. But you at least managed to put something into it. Yep. Roro is going to continue in his attempt to get up to the big robot that is his current concern, because he's already sort of designated that. 1, 2, 3. He slips by you and the floating robot, sort of lands right here. And he is going to make an attempt to repair the big stomp boy.
could hopefully be pretty good at that.
So that repair is, as I recall, Mechanicon plus Dexterity pool, which is... Yeah, you get some successes. Even with a TN of 8, he gets 4 successes. And even if one of them were nullified by that one, it would be 3. So he's good. So this is going to be... so it's 11 minus 12 plus 10. Which seems a little bit superfluous or unnecessary. But I do believe that Roro had something specifically for this kind of stuff. I believe he had a tool set. Tool set.
Yeah,
the robot
yeah.
adds 1 extra D10 to every repair check it attempts. If its tool is used as a weapon, it inflicts damage equal to the equipped robot's size rating minus 2. Okay, that's not what it was, but he would have had an extra die to this repair check. I'm going to add the extra die on top of the first success to how much he repairs, because I feel like that makes sense. So he would... 11 minus 12 is -1 plus 10 equals 9 damage that he would do. He actually... Roro is a fucking god and immediately repairs him back up. His turrets are going to take another turn to be operational again. Like, holy shit. Roro does quick work. And he's doing this on the fly without hydraulic press. What is going on?
I need to find
How is he
something
so
to
good
raise
at
my
his job?
damage. I need to hit harder.
Mr.
Yes, I
Sweepy.
guess. Oh,
Mr. Sweepy said Roro is a good bot. Repair is like fixing cleaning.
Is like fixing cleaning. I love that. Roro is a good bot. Repair is like fixing cleaning, is more how they say it, but the text-to-speech is weird on it. All right, Mr. Sweepy, it is your turn. You can either engage in the combat or be Mr. Sweepy.
I think we all know the answer.
You've finished cleaning the noticeable messes, so in spite of the fact that there are still stains on the map, those have been cleaned.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is more concerned about the droid that has been splatted by TOA-PA moves to clean that.
All right, so Mr. Sweepy is moving. You can basically move through the big robot spaces with ease. He is so much bigger, and you are able to get through his legs like without a problem. So Mr. Sweepy's movement is really high. You could easily just go meow and go up to clean it and stay in that tile if you wanted to. Yeah. So you're sweeping up the mess of oil that is now spilled out of this robot now that a laser has gone straight through it. So this is Mr. Sweepy's round is spent cleaning yet again.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is beeping in distress. I just cleaned.
He's like, fuck you guys, please. All right, lumber control.
Can I charge into this guy and try to smash it?
Which one?
The one in front of me.
Orange?
Yep. I'm trying to
Yeah,
double
you can
click,
do
but it
that as
doesn't
an
want to work.
interaction and attempt to do your like a damage from strike on it.
TN8.
Actually, you don't have a damage to strike.
I said charge into him with my weight, if you allow that or not.
Okay, yeah, so I'll let you do that. It's not going to be a damaging thing, but it will attempt to set it off balance and make it fall to the ground.
Still interaction, right?
Yes, it would still be an interaction, TN8. Because this is effectively a strike, it's just with a different purpose. And you get 2 successes. All right, so you manage to run into this thing, and you hit it super hard. I really wish right now that I had written down all this shit. Okay, yeah, that actually doesn't affect this. I forgot that it didn't do that. What I thought it did. It must have been another feature that I thought it had. Okay, so you hit this, you ram into it, and as you go into it, it just sort of fucking spins midair, cartoon style, repeatedly. And when it's done, the propulsion side is facing upwards, and it tosses itself straight into the ground. It doesn't seem to take any damage or get a dent, but it is having trouble righting itself. It's now has to like pull out its arms and attempt to right itself. So basically, for the next turn, it's going to be basically prone.
All time.
Yay. If a robot could look happy, that's what lumber, or satisfied, that's what lumber control would look like now.
Yep, and now this thing is on the ground, so the saws from your drones can actually potentially do something. Well, from the one drone that can actually fucking reach, at least.
Yep. Turn order.
Yeah. Turn order this.
And
That. All right. So these guys are, I'm assuming you're going to attempt to strike orange with one of them?
yep. Do I get a lower TM because
Yes,
he's on the ground?
he is prone. I'm going to give you a TN. He is still actively trying to avoid getting sawed, obviously, but he's also like flat on his back and his thrusters are going in the opposite direction. It's actually going to be a lot easier as a result. A TN of 5 for me. You need 1 success. Cutter drone succeeds. All right, so you have a saw, and that is what you are using to do this, I assume, right?
Well, I don't have anything else, so yes.
Right, so its size is 2, and the saw deals size -1, so it's still the same as your damage from strike. It deals 1 damage. So this orange one is not looking all too happy about this state of affairs right now. The other cutter drone, is it going to attempt to do something to green?
So yes.
That cutter drone gets it's hit. This one is actually, because this one's still in the air, you're actually hitting it with your claw, but you still have the same damage to strike as you do with your saw. So, boop, you knock it, you bop it on the head, and it takes another dent, and it's not happy. All right, Chet.
That is continuing to bodyguard the literal bodyguard and kind of run around him and basically block any incoming attacks.
So you're going to intercept any attacks intended for Rezor.
Yes.
All right, that can be your turn, and I think there's actually an effect for that, but whatever. So that's your entire turn, right? That's what you're doing?
Yes.
All right, the carry drones. One of them is down.
Yep. I'm just going to move the other way so that doesn't. And move this here, and I'm going to bob the green one.
All right, so 2 attempts from these guys on the green one is still a TN of 8, so have them both roll for me. Ooh, nice. Ooh, nice. All right. These 2 things just bop on the green one, and this green thing has a lot of dents and is not happy and slowly lowers a little bit in its propulsion. It's still floating, but it is definitely not floating happily right next to you. All right.
That's 4 things.
4 dents, 4 damage to this thing. All right, so
No, sir. Just go on. Fuck it. Sorry.
No worries. So the big boy is going to swing at the blue boy and attempt to bop it.
Bop it.
In the meanwhile, it is also slowly whirring up its turrets, but they aren't operational yet, so it can't really do anything with them. Did I actually forget about something pretty important for him?
But he has like grenade launchers or something.
Oh, it doesn't apply to these fucking things. Never mind. He is unable to get a decisive blow on the blue one. He does not deal any damage to it, but he is still slowly wearing up his miniguns on the front. Next turn, he will be able to use them, assuming they don't take a significant amount of damage in the meanwhile. TOA-PA, it is your turn.
It's toast time.
This toast time. TOA-PA turns around towards the blue one behind him and raises his hand up again.
All right. So you're going to attempt to hit this thing. It is still a TN of 8. You sadly do not hit it this time. It has learned from watching its ally get sliced up, and it dodges in the air to avoid your laser.
TOA-PA makes some more disgruntled toaster noises.
Disgruntled toaster noises.
Disgruntled toaster noises is one of the best
Clanking the
descriptors
toast,
I've ever fucking heard.
clank, 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 clank.
All right. These things are not happy. The blue one isn't happy that you just attempted to hit it. It is going to attempt a swing at TOA-PA. TOA-PA, what is your TN to be struck?
My TN to be struck is 5.
All right. It manages to hit you, and you have taken 3 points of damage from its cutting laser as it shoots you back in turn. With a notably, like, it seems like it goes further, but it seems notably weaker than yours. But you are still at only 1 damage threshold now. It is not a great situation to be in.
Hopefully, Roro comes in clutch.
And now Green, Scoot, is not happy at all at being bopped by all of these things. Sees the, big human person says to itself in its head, probably the easiest target to hit, and attempts to laser at Rezor. Rezor, what is your TN to be struck?
Oh, no. I'm blocking.
Yep.
My was it damage or what? Struck. 9.
Actually, yeah, that's true what you said. I need your damage to be struck instead, Chet. So what is your TN to be struck, Fluff?
It's 10.
10? Damn.
10.
Yeah, so you manage to distract this thing as it attempts to go for your master, and you just go bark, 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 and its sensors just like are attempting to like calculate what you're trying to say as if it's binary, and it's not saying anything. It's getting confused, and its laser goes wide and just barely skims over the top of Rezor's head, but you manage to get him to duck in time, and nothing hits, nothing connects.
Or in worst case, there could have been a hole in his head.
Look
right.
back at Rezor, and I just wag my tail happily.
All right.
Good
So
boy.
the
Pat.
orange one takes its turn to right itself. So it is now floating again above the ground, but it's unable to throw out an attack at any of you. And purple is going to attempt to laser the rightmost cannon minigun on our friend here. So that is only a TN of 4. Yeah, so it manages to hit, and the big robot that was just super fixed is down one of its miniguns, but its other one is still operational. Its rightmost one is operational. So that is the end of all these big floating discs turns. It's now Rezor's turn.
Alright. God damn it with my damage. I should have done something about it.
Just a note, you are physically capable of utilizing and operating tools. So that's something you can look into later on.
True. But yeah.
You could always run over and use that saw on lumber control. And he's pretty big, so it's pretty useful.
True. So, skippity gay, I'm gonna run over here. Boop-a-doop. I think I can move here. Oop.
Yeah, you can occupy that space.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to use Lumber's saw on this
I'm
dude.
assuming that Lumber Control is not objecting or unwilling for this, right?
In robot terms, I'm excited if anything.
Marius,
Yes.
we can't hear you. Your thing's going green, but we can't hear you. Or my headset fucking
Now?
died.
I
Fuck my
can't
headset,
say you,
man.
Mirrors. What did you
Fuck
say?
my headset, man.
Okay. Say again, Mirrors.
Yes. Cut him in
Alright.
half. Kill it.
All right,
Barney.
Rezor, you are using the saw. It is still your interaction pool. You have to hit a TN of 8 because it is flying again. But let's see how much damage you manage to do. If you
Do I
manage
use
to hit,
the 8 again as TN or?
you
Yeah.
want to use your interaction pool of 10, TN of 8, yes.
Swunk?
3 successes. All right, now I need to pull up Lumber Control sheet here again. You have a saw, and it is equal to your size minus 1 for damage.
4.
So you take up the saw and you cleft a good massive chunk into this thing, but it's barely still floating in the air. It's hanging on by 1 damage threshold. Roro's turn. Roro turns to the little toaster and he's just like looking at you.
Must repair.
And begins to repair you. Its voice comes out a lot more robotic than is usual for Roro. This just seems like he's like going into auto mode on this shit. So he is going to attempt to do a repair on you. And as I recall, it's actually 10d10 that he gets. Wow, he only got 1 success, but it's still enough. You're up to full health again.
Nice.
So he repairs the laser wound in you and just sort of like welds it back together on the fly. Mr. Sweepy. What is Mr. Sweepy doing today?
Sweeping.
Oh yeah, just
What
something of
Mr.
note.
Sweepy said. Mr. Sweepy is beeping in distress and attempting to clean all the oil flying everywhere.
Yep, throughout all of this, Mr. Sweepy is cleaning up all of this oil. You notice that the biggest thing doing oil spills is now orange.
You are a bitch and Mr. Sweepy rocks.
You are correct, Noel. And fuck you.
You're welcome for the 50 cents. Don't spend it all in one place.
I am buying 2 gumballs, and you can't fucking stop me.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy would request that everyone fight in a manner that is more clean.
Alright, so I'm going to assume Mr. Sweepy's turn is spent cleaning still, just with the oil, and that you aren't going to be doing any attacks on anyone. That's fine. So that would be your turn, Lumber Control. It's your turn.
Mr. Sweepy said yes.
Alright. Lumber Control, you could potentially finish this thing off if you hit.
Didn't I have no damage or something?
Never mind, you
I mean-
have 0 damage to strike.
I'm going to try to stun it again.
While Rezor is sitting there like, whoa!
Yeah, so it floats a little bit lower because its propulsion isn't working as well, and you're going to attempt to like ram it while Rezor is holding on to your saw, your manual saw.
Yes.
So TN to
Meanwhile,
strike
Chet's probably over there like, oh my god.
is still 8.
Interaction.
Interaction pool, yes. Need at least 1 success, and alright. So you knock it around again. It's not as bad as it was last time, but it is also suffering a lot of damage, so its TN to be struck will be lowered quite a bit, but it's not like prone or anything right now. It's having trouble staying steady. Your cutter drone has its turn
And-
up.
Yep. Cutter drone. One is going to try to finish it off.
All right. Go ahead
Do I
and do
get-
his interaction. TN of 6 for this. All right.
Yay.
So how does cutter drone finish this thing off?
It cuts it. With a
It cuts-
saw that only deals 1 damage. Somehow.
All right. So you hit this drone and it starts to fly lower and it's having trouble keeping itself stable. But as it dips down at one point, cutter drone's saw whirs up and just splits through what remains of it that's already been weakened by so many other strikes in your own saw. And this thing sputters, floats in the air for half a moment more, and then just collapses onto the ground.
Mr. Sweet immediately teleports.
Mr. Sweepy spends an off-turn action to clean this one too. I will allow it.
And
All right. Chet.
Cutter drone 2. I still have Cutter drone 2.
Oh yeah, right. Go ahead.
I'm just going to do the same thing I did last turn. With
Yep. So
him.
going after green.
Interact- Yep, TNA. The same strategy. Hey.
Cutter drone 2 manages to get a hit. You deal an additional bop to this thing. It is really dented and really audibly pissed. But it is still barely holding on.
Chet is going to continue to run down and kind of block from any incoming attacks for Rezor.
All
But
right.
he's hanging on the saw right now, so he's higher up.
You can just like reach up and operate the saw. You don't have to get on top of him to reach this.
Oh, I thought he was like a big.
He's about the size of a fridge, but you can reach the saw controls more easily than that. It was meant to be used by a human. It would be within human reach.
And I'm going to try
carry
to...
drones.
I'm kind of imagining that Rezor's just sitting inside the control place.
He doesn't have a cockpit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
And
not
with
big enough to
carry
hold a
drone.
human.
I'm just going to try to bop green to death.
All right, these two are going to do their thing. That's a miss. That's a
Ouch.
miss. So the carry drones attempt to bop it again, but it's been getting used to how these things attempt to bop it, and barely with what's left of its propulsion moves out of the way. At this point, you hear crackling sound from it, and its screen pops up again. This gentleman appears on the screen of the green drone now that the initial one, the red one, is out of action. It's just like, do you not see the issues that you are causing us?
Language.
No, it like in between. He's not swearing or anything. It's just the only thing I really have. This thing's communications device. The audio from it is breaking, so it's coming across really staticky and broken and awful.
Why are you attacking the big guy?
My product. I own him.
Own him for what?
He's saying he owns this big guy.
Oh. But
That
what?
it is his property.
I can't even talk right now! Ah!
Go ahead.
I don't have words. My words went somewhere.
All right. The big
Mr.
guy.
Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy does not approve of any action that causes more mess.
Mr. Sweepy is a pacifist. We've learned this now.
Yeah, basically. Well, being offensive doesn't do anything other than cause more messes. The big ass mech dude, in response to what he's saying, is
I will be no I will be no property of someone who seeks such ill will towards my fellow robots.
Rezor looks at the big robot.
The
What do you
broken
need,
up
ill will?
signal coming over the green robot simply replies that my fucking headphones are dying on me again because they really don't want to stay on and I can't even hear the own beeps that I'm making through them.
Oh no.
God fucking damn it. It's actively recharging as we're playing because it decided not to charge overnight. Ah, fuck's sake. The stuttering, staticky signal of the green floating disc that is slowly breaking and whirring cuts out, and the signal pops over to the blue one because he sort of realized that that one is breaking down, and it's staring up. The screen is staring up at the robot, and it's saying... The guy's face appears again. I'm not going to pop it up for you guys again because it's sort of unnecessary, but you for those of you who are vaguely in front of it, basically only the big robot guy himself, TOA-PA, and the CARR-E drones can sort of see the face at this point, and mostly at an angle. He's looking up at this guy, and some artificial eyebrows are like squinting down and looking at him. His face is designed to be able to actually show some of these expressions, and he says, "You know little of our plans. Our plans are for the betterment of all robots, but you simply don't trust." And with that, the big robot ignores this and fires at the purple one, actually. Actually, no, he is firing at blue. He's firing at the blue guy. So, let me... For some reason, I closed his sheet. That was a dumb idea.
But I definitely think since Chet was literally raised by a military vet, he'd definitely be on the big robot's side at this point. Like, yeah! Freedom!
He manages to hit. Now, I'm actually going to go with the first one where I said he was going after 8. The purple one. He turns to the purple one and his minigun whirs up. And the large firing sounds, the almost deafening sounds if you were human of the minigun propulse. And unlike before, it's able to move it and get a proper shot. And this disc that was once floating about 2 meters above the ground is now sent flying backwards, shell casings littering everywhere as it goes straight over the truck and lands in a heap behind it with bullet holes riddled through it.
Damn.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepa does not approve.
Oh, goddamn.
Mr. Sweep, it's just going beep, 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 beep.
All right, TOA-PA, it is your turn again.
Okay. TOA-PA looks at the blue one again after having been repaired, and he speaks in a almost rehearsed voice. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not repeat these things at home. And it then proceeds to fail again.
Dramatic line all of a sudden, just don't repeat these things at home. You attempt to pop your laser up at it, but considering it had just shortly before its companion had just been riddled with bullets and it had moved away from the range of the gun, and in this movement it narrowly avoids your laser.
I mean, he still has a good point. Don't fail.
This thing.
If you want to kill someone, don't miss.
Yep. The blue one takes this opportunity to attempt to kill off the other minigun on our big mech friend. And it is going to do a doop-de-doop-de-doo because I forgot to leave the... Oh, I do have the sheet up. It was just hidden. All right, this It is going to hit quite well. This thing is this big old mech friend that you still don't know the name of. Takes a big hefty hit to its other minigun and it's left unoperable. And the green one is rather pissed at all of these things hitting it. It's going to turn towards this drone here, and it's going to fire its laser at it. The TN to be struck from the carries. Can you get that for me?
He said it was
3.
5. Oh, 3.
3. These guys were easy to hit. And he hits quite well. This one, like the other one, takes a big rinsing hole through it.
They're all connected again.
Yeah. They always will be. I just fucking forgot. And on top of that, he attempts to begin moving away.
Mr. Sweepy said, increasingly distressed, beeping.
I'm gonna give him about half movement because it's after an attack. And he moves to around there. Rezor, you're up.
That's all in this, and he's just like, Master, he's getting away.
Okay, so Rezor hippity hoppity dashes over here and punches at this dude. Or tries to kick. Punch kick punch. One or the other. Huzzah!
Or you're right next to the guy.
Yes, but he is
saw.
not. Lumber is not in range of him. He needs the saw to be in range of the enemy. That's one of the downfalls of having a manually operated thing. Takes coordination to get it into position. So this interaction pool is an attempt to hit it. All right. So this green thing is trying to fly away. It's sputtering out sparks and everything as it goes past you. It's obviously flying lower than it's intended to. And you, just as it goes by, just punch it as hard as you can. This thing starts spinning wildly out of control away from you. And this, over on the left side, you can see a forklift. And its blades are not actually on the ground. They're held up at about like waist level for the average human. This thing slowly just spins and whirs. It's not able to deal with this and impales itself on the spike of the forklift.
Is it still operational?
I'm just now seeing it so that Rezor just jumped at it and conk!
Or boom.
All right. Roro's turn. Roro is attempting to repair the blue flying drone.
Ah, crap. I guess
For
he's gotta repair
Roro,
everything, huh?
Yep, his thing is to repair. It doesn't specify who. Yep, 2 successes, it's gonna be able to do it. So this drone, the damage that had been on it before seems to falter and go away. It seems to be fully operational once again. Mr. Sweepy, can I assume you clean? Oh yeah, by the way, Mr. Sweepy, that forklift is covered in oil now.
It's covered. Everywhere is oil.
Just gonna to make some beeping here soon. Goes just beeping.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is having a crisis and is rushing over to the forklift.
What is Mr. Sweepy's movement? I actually forget how fast you are. I know you're super fast though. Your speed is 7, so you have like a movement of 35. Yeah, you can get over there.
Mr. Sweepy said 7 miles per hour.
Yeah, so basically we're just treating it as each one is 5 feet. So this is how far you can move. One of these 2 tiles. You move up to the forklift and continue to attempt to clean it. And now it's Lumber Control's turn.
Rezor had speed of 8, so he is quite fast too.
Yeah.
A fast boy.
Well, you were built to subdue people, so you would be given like some, I don't know, hydraulic servos or something in your legs that would allow you to sprint faster than the average human.
Yeah. Plus reflexes and what else? What did I have high? Reflexes.
Speed
Mr.
is
Sweepy
based
said
on
Mr.
mobility
Sweepy
plus
is so
reflexes.
upset. The happy chiptunes are just the most upset beeping.
Mr. Sweepy just sounded like.
Heart attack.
Shit.
Or he just starts like beeping, like doing the chip tune of the Lavender Town theme or something.
No.
Bum, 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 boom, bum, bum. Yeah. So,
He's just becoming
Sweepy's not having a good time
disturbed.
with this. All right, lumber control. It is your turn. Lumber control. Marius.
Yeah, sorry.
There you go. I was like, did my fucking headset cut out again?
No, that was me.
Good job. All right, what are you doing? Lumber control, it's your turn?
I guess just go in front of blue. Actually, let me check my movement again. I forgot.
Your movement. I
Nope.
think you had,
4.
yeah, so 20 feet.
Yeah, I can move there easily.
Yeah, you can definitely get there.
And
You're
stay
gonna
because
get
I
over
can't
there.
really do much.
All right, and the cutter drones. Just an FYI, you don't technically need to have fancy things to perform repairs.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about now. Yeah, I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna ask. And I will try to repair the first carry drone.
All right, so the carry drones have a max HP of 3, and they've taken 3 damage. So actually, that's a bit of a problem.
I should probably just deal with that when we are out of combat.
You
So I
would not
can
be able to
actually-
do anything to this one.
Or
They would need repairs beyond you, since they're
Ouch.
out. Because the way it would work is it would be start at 11, and then it would go down to 8, and then it would go straight back up to 11, and a TN of
Yeah.
11 is impossible. All right, cutter drones turn is done. Now it's Chet
Yeah, I can
again.
blame.
Chet is pumped at this point. He sees that Rezor is no longer in trouble, so he goes up and attempts to somehow use the saw to cut into this
Yes, despite
guy.
being a dog, you can operate his saw.
All right. So interaction, right?
Yes, it would be your interaction pool with a TN of 8. You attempt to swing the saw from lumber control in the air at this thing, but it sweeps and dodges at your attempts. The last remaining carry drone.
Yeah, I can't really do anything.
I mean, you're the one that was doing the most damage earlier, but you can get in here and swing at it. You want?
Why not?
Fuck it. So yeah, interaction check. TN 8.
Hey,
You hit it, and you bop it.
Bop
Twist it.
Twist it.
Yeah.
Pull it.
So you bop this thing and give it a nice dent in its side that's not happy about. All right, so the big guy attempts to wear up his guns, and they don't spin. So he is notably pissed. He swings at this flying disc thing once again, and actually manages to hit it, dealing a slightly bigger dent to it than what you were able to do before. But it is still flying, and it's not like spurting out oil or anything yet. TOA-PA, it's your turn.
TOA-PA, TOA-PA, TOA-PA.
So TOA-PA takes, he raises his hand again, making more disgruntled noises. Obviously upset from the disgruntled toast noises. Obviously upset from the past, like, 2 failures. But he tries the same thing again.
3rd time's the charm. All right. So, how do you finish it off with your laser?
I don't know.
Describe to me how he uses this laser on this thing. Think about it.
He raises the laser to the robot and attempts to cut directly through the central part of it to take a whole lot of its inner workings.
All right. So you lift up your laser, and as it dips a little bit lower, you point it straight at the center. And just like with the previous one, your laser goes straight through its central compartment, and it's fried. It falls. And much to Mr. Sweepy's chagrin, leaks oil everywhere. But as it is about to shut off, the screen on it comes up one last time, and it shows the same man. He's just like, curse you, and cuts.
And Chet just goes over and just steps on the screen. Tyrants cannot speak. You got, which might seem unusual, but you got to remember he was raised by a military vet, so he has very strong opinions about this.
Yeah. So what you've got is a field littered with the corpses of floating disc scout drones, and 2 of your carry drones got fucked up.
One question. It was
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is so upset. Mr. Sweepy is so upset with everything.
It was Orange and Green who downed my carry drones, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to smash their bodies with my weight.
You just gotta roll over them on the ground in anger. So,
Robot definition of teabagging.
So, aka Lumber is making more mess.
Mr. Sweepy said stoop. Frowning
Alright,
face with
so-
open mouth.
so what you guys... Are you guys doing anything... Sorry, go ahead. So you were about to say something, Topa?
No?
I think it might have been Marius.
So Marius is rolling over this one thing with his wheels. What are the cutter drones doing?
I'm just going to command them to put the carry drones on the treadmill.
The treadmill? You mean the hydraulic lift?
Yeah, sorry, the hydraulic lift thingy. Basically.
And then
I put them on a line. Are you happy
Roro
now?
turns to lumber control and puts a thing on your shoulder and says, "You must be repaired."
I don't repeat.
You must be repaired, friend. Please come.
Chet kind of like goes over to Roro. We're sorry all this happened. Well, but hey, at least we have more scrap now.
Roro turns to you and you see like it's not anger or anything. It's sort of disappointment in his eyes, but it's not directed at you.
I do not like when robots fight one another. It is not good for us as a whole. Lately, we have been getting more and more of these strange visitors that appear to want to recruit me for some reason. I don't know what they mean by recruitment, but it has not done well. Roger would not have liked this.
Well, we can help you. I don't think I want to be registered by this guy anymore. He seems like the guys that my old master was fighting, and I don't like him.
You see this big robot dude, whose name you still have never gotten, slowly turning, stomping, and returning back inside. And as he proceeds, he's like,
Request. Additional repairs required.
Roro turns to him and says,
I will repair everyone who needs it.
and Roro, at this point, seems to notice the two carry drones that got fucked up earlier, and moves over to them and inspects them. And he turns back to lumber control, and he says,
These are your attendant drones, correct?
Yes.
he looks back at the robots that are in very bad shape, and he says,
I can repair these, but I will require additional components. Please
What do you need?
salvage some necessary metal and other parts from me.
and at this point, Rezor, you remember that at some point you picked up a circuit board. I think
have
a couple
three
of you picked
circuit
up.
boards at least, and then
Yeah,
there was
you have some spare circuit boards. Those will help.
and
Also,
then
by
there
this
was
point,
some plastic on the carry drones.
at this point, didn't Roro heal me? Or
So we're going to assume that he's going to drag you back to the hydraulic lifts at some point and pull you up and
Yeah.
actually do the repairs, right? Because what he was doing during this fight
Yeah.
were like patch jobs. They didn't do well enough. Like the big boy still looks fucked up.
yeah,
'Cause he's taken
understandable.
more than his maximum threshold in damage over the entire course of this fight. As you proceed back inside of the building, minus Mr. Sweepy, who's outside cleaning all this oil and being distressed the entire time. Basically, what happens is you and the large robot are placed onto the hydraulic lifts. I'm just going to remove these guys from the map just for sanity's sake. And these two guys are placed on top of the lift along with it. You're placed on a further lift in the back, so more to the left.
I think I may have some scrap metal with me too.
What's up?
We've got plenty of scrap metal laying around.
Yes, you guys picked up a bunch of repairing stuff, and I'm assuming you're going to pull this up and show it to Roro.
Yeah.
All right, so you're taking out these scrap pieces of metal that are in good shape and these few circuit boards that you had and whatnot, and you present them to Roro. And Roro, if you could see him smiling, he would be. He says,
These will be more than adequate to perform the necessary repairs.
and then he turns once again to Chet and says,
We still have to get your GPS fixed.
Yes, I would very much appreciate that, but I don't think it's going to be for the same reason. I think we might want to go around with this guy. Hopefully,
big
make
mech.
this guy stop fighting other robots, and we can all stop fighting.
the big mech on the platform, he's still like spurting a little bit from the damage and whatnot, but his top portion turns once again to look at Chet and says to you,
Acknowledgement, fellow freedom fighter.
Yes, we're going to put a stop to all this violence.
Rezor walks back in, and over here, and looks at the big robot. What did you mean with that robot having plans to control us?
He looks at you and
Answer. He has been operating the Ambico warehouse after the fall of mankind. He has been inviting or subjugating other service robots and reprogramming them for his means.
That's not good.
Because I didn't include it, what war did Chet's owner fight in exactly? That may determine what he says here.
the closest thing that you can really think of, it was a more technologically advanced war, but your owner did not operate anything like this guy.
Yes, but I'm saying what war did he fight? Like, who was he fighting in that war? Because he's going to say something.
Red Scare 2 Electric Boogaloo was the commies.
Commies. And basically, Chet kind of comes up, damn commies. Subjugating and brainwashing everyone. It's just like them. And I said, and I just kind of like say, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Hi, Master. Are you going to be with us for the fight? If not, I'm still going to stay by you.
I will help. I want to find out what happened to you, anyway.
Okay,
With the whole situation, she was disappearing and whatnot.
But remember that your safety is my number one priority, not killing commies. That was my old owner's number one priority.
Mr. Sweepy said. Mr. Sweepy pokes into the repair bay.
Alright, I got
What
you.
is this bad robot's opinion on cleaning?
I'll try to be careful, but I don't want you sacrificing yourself either, so do be careful as well.
Yeah. So Mr. Sweepy comes back in, and you turn to look at the big robot and ask him what his opinion on cleaning is. He once again, like, his torso turns to face you, and he bends down to look straight at Mr. Sweepy, and he replies,
Answer. While I was not designed for cleaning, I do not appreciate unnecessary bloodshed.
Or I guess it would be oil shed in this case. But yeah, same point.
Yeah. You didn't text to speech that one, I don't think. I think you need to retype it with a TTS thing for Mr. Sweepy.
Mr. Sweepy said. Mr. Sweepy approves. Mr. Sweepy thinks we should help.
All right. There's a couple beeps of positive acknowledgement from the large robot, whose name you still don't know.
As he realizes this, Chet kind of pipes up, oh, what's your name?
My
Answer. This robot had designation 5T0MP.
And Chet kind of like processed that for a minute. Oh, Stomp!
Acknowledge
you Stomp.
that was the shorthand.
Nice to meet you, Stump. I am Rezor.
I'm Chet. Oh, well, my designation was Rover, but my name is Chet. That's what my old master named me.
He acknowledges this, turns to you and says,
Acknowledged, fellow Ambico. Brazil, freedom fighter, Chet.
The rest of our friends are lumber control, the big guy. Then there is Mr. Sweepy and TOA-PA.
Don't forget my drones.
Yeah, and Mr. Lumber. Your drones are basically considered an extension of you by other robots.
Yeah, basically.
Practically. Because they are
Lumber
directly
drones.
under your control and they directly answer to you. They don't really have much of their own, like, will in anything.
They're more traditional robots in a sense.
Yeah.
Helping
You're
hands.
like a hive mind.
Well, that's what I am.
He's literally a drone operator. They are his drones. So they're an extension of him and his performance. Roro comes back in and moves past you guys to get up to the terminal here.
Oh.
And begins to operate it to lift up the big guy. And at this point, we are going to call it for today's session. Over the course of the time between now and next time, I'll briefly explain once we begin next session. But you can all reset all the characters' health to max, assumedly.
Also, remove the X's from my...
What do you think I'm doing, bitch?
Yeah. And despite body blocking, Chet has taken no damage.
He's not
because your
combat
can is
ready.
great.
And
He
Yeah.
managed to spook the drone. Barf, 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 barf.
Chet isn't combat ready, and yet he can basically dodge every single attack in the game.
There we go. Now
Unless
you
he
can see the
gets
name.
unlucky.
Mr. Sweepy said Mr. Sweepy is a pacifist, but he does need to dump.
So yeah, that will be our session for today. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been fantastic. Everyone who participated today, if you would briefly say out of character who you were, assuming you're okay with that, and just say goodbye.
Bye.
We
I was playing Rezor, and yeah, it was fun.
Topo
Bye,
was
chat.
away for
I
the
was
moment.
playing-
So
I
yeah,
was playing TOA-PA. It was nice having you all here today, and goodbye.
I was the woodcutting hype mind. Bye.
as a
I
description.
was playing as Chet or Rover, and I've had a very good time blasting commies today. Goodbye.
And I mean, with the text-to-speech, was playing Mr. Sweepy, the pacifist cleaning robot, who approves of this new robot's stance on cleaning.
Mr. Sweepy said I
So
was
can we
playing
strap
Mr.
a dog?
Sweepy.
No, wait.
I
no,
had a
that's wrong.
blast
Can we strap a
protesting
knife
and
to the
cleaning.
dog?
What's up?
Can we strap a knife to the dog?
No. We're going to make him like fucking the dog from
Goddamn.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Goddamn. All right, so I will probably bug you guys with a few things interim between these sessions, but for now we're ending off.